Hey, everybody, this is Sherry Levon, and we have another wonderful guest speaker today. Her name is Crystal Mitchell, and you guys got to stay tuned because you do not want to miss this amazing broadcast today. God loves the sun. Shall rise in my life. God is everything to me. Oh yes, when I buried my kids, it devastated me. I was lost, I went astray, I was mad at God, but He saved me, came and got me. He never left, I left Him. Ready. Welcome everybody to the Souls Right House Empowerment Center. I am your host, Miss Sherry Levon, and I have a wonderful guest today, Miss Crystal Ann Mitchell. How are you today, Crystal?
Hello, I'm doing fine, and thank you for having me on.
You are so welcome. Now, one of the things I want to let everybody know, you are a current author, and I'm going to go on your page here. Now, what is the name of your book?
Well, my name is Crystal Ann Mitchell, and I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. This is where I've been born and raised. I'm a nurse aide, so I've been a nurse aide off and on for about 17 years, and I became an author during the pandemic, so I made my dream come true of August 2020. And that's my book, The Beginning of Her Story. I got the blindfold on and my hand held out because I'm letting people know that I'm walking by faith and not by sight. So I got my hand out to God.
Oh, girl, that gave me a
chill. I'm trusting Him.
That gave me a chill, seriously. Like, a lot of people are not walking by faith and walking by sight. So what made you dig into this book?
Well, I've always wanted to become an author ever since about second or third grade. So I used to fantasize about becoming this author. And going throughout life, I got pushed in the back of my mind. And so I tend to have dreams to come true. So I dreamed my brother's death years before it had happened. And so when he died, about the end of that year, something kept telling me to write, but I thought it was my own self telling my own self to write. And I just made up every excuse of why I couldn't write. Like I'm getting old, I don't know what to write about. And then that year marking around his death day, it was just on my heart and mind very heavily all day, every day. So I had to ask God, if this is what you want me to do, give me a sign. And He ended up giving me my sign. And that's how, I became an author.
Oh, wow. Now, you say you've lost a loved one. One of the things about what we do is we tap into the hearts of many, because I buried two of my children. And God knows when I wrote my book, Root of My Pain, it was very heavy. But then God said, get to the point, because people's lives are at stake. And sometimes we can put too much in it and it draws away from really the purpose to why we write. So after you lost your brother, what direction did, being that you wrote the book, what direction would you give people who have lost a loved one and they have this book inside of them, or really stuff about their loved one? What advice would you give people on just slowing down and taking the time to listen to God first, but then to go ahead and stop procrastinating and get it done?
Yeah, because He didn't let me procrastinate. You hear me? I still wanted to grieve. I was like, oh no, God. But I would say, you got to turn that pain. There's purpose in that pain. So throughout the whole book is just showing you that everything that you've been through in life wasn't none but all the ingredients of what you needed for you to become whoever you are to become. So, everything that was meant to hurt you and break you down, God's going to use your enemies as your footstools, and that is the whole purpose of the book. So, and writing. So even if you're not an author, but with me writing, so my pain and suffering is for someone else. And during this journey of writing, I got to then accept the things that happened. And I actually cried about the things that I kept in and try to be strong. So it was very therapeutic for myself as it is going to be for others. Yeah. So I am thankful that I did listen to him, and wound up writing this story. And he helped me along because to this day, I still can't believe that I have actually written this book. I'm like, I wrote this. Yes.
Hi, everybody. This is Sherry Levon, and here is your song message from God. Stay tuned.
Hello, hello. Can you hear God calling your name in the middle of the night when you can't sleep? Toss and turn, just say no. Hello, I'm listening. God, you're talking to me. I'll get my Bible, get in a corner, and listen after I pray. Hello, 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 I'm listening to you, God. Song message.
Hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back with our special guest.
Some of the names of the chapters in your book.
The book is based on true story, so I just made up a psychologist. But in there, I'm telling the psychologist everything, you know, that is truthful things. So I didn't want it to seem as if, you know, just share all this hurt. And then I'm thinking about Hollywood and, you know, what they would want. So I was making where they slowly was falling in love. But each session, I'm going to tell him things. So after I wrote the book and I started typing it down, because I wrote it down on paper, God then had me to meet a psychologist online. So I'm not knowing that he was a psychologist. And so then when I found out, I got to use him to tell me the things that were to be seen in the psychologist's office. And, you know, what would I call them? So it was a way of God bringing somebody into my life to help push me to get over fears. And he will always place people in your path to get you to where he's trying to get you. So, yeah, so I didn't name it and I made it a cliffhanger because I got a publisher. I feel like I couldn't grab the audience that I needed. So I figured, you know, I didn't want them to have all of my life story. So I had dropped it off, which I'm very, very sad that I did. Because a lot of people want to know what's next, and it's just like I didn't think it was going to be, you know, that successful in my eyes, you know, them want to know more.
Right.
So yeah, but each session that I'm going, each chapter is going into a session that I'm telling him different things.
And that's really powerful for those of y'all that are watching. The beginning of her story. Now, what I love, what touched me, first of all, the blindfold, because a lot of times when you're walking by faith and not by sight is a relationship between you and God, meaning that I've heard all y'all back here in the background, because see, if y'all was really in my corner, I'd have been done wrote the book. So God says, and I tell a lot of my authors that when we meet, that sometimes we have to separate ourselves from people. And I don't really call them non-supporters, because sometimes people will use the biblical sense where, you know, they didn't support Jesus in his own homeland. And I don't like using that, because I'm going to tell you why. At some point, when you going to stop being a copycat? That's what they did to Jesus.
Yeah, you're right.
What you want to know people. So why you want to copy people that didn't follow the Messiah? Like me, myself, that is nothing I would be proud of. You feel what I'm saying? Like I was just like in the Bible, honey. I didn't believe her either, because that was just Sherry or that was just Crystal. Right. And God is saying, when we gonna stop being the counterfeits? Yeah, that's what happened to Jesus in his own homeland, but the people heard about Jesus before he came on the scene. So when he did come on the scene and for his own hometown not to receive him, God is saying today, don't let that be your hometown. That's why our hometowns are the way they are. You have to leave where you're from to make it. And to me, your hometown should be where you build your foundation, where people have saw what you went through and been through, and then they take your book and help you elevate to the next level. Because what people fail to realize is your success got to come back home. So if you don't help me,
it
you help push me on out there and get me on up that ladder, I got to come back home to take care of my people. But if I can't never do that, and it's my hometown that's pushing me to the ground, then when you do make it, sometimes it's a reason why you don't come back so soon, or you don't
be a blessing to your communities. But that's the problem in life now, is a lot of celebrities and stars, when we get so big and so up there, that we live in these big old houses and mansions, but God didn't say all that was yours. First of all, none of it belongs to you. It belongs to him. And he advanced you and allowed you to do certain things so you can connect with people and be a blessing, so that we all can share the wealth, because it says the wicked is storing for the righteous. So you got to determine where you at. Am I wickedly having this money, or am I a righteous person with this money?
Well, my next step is I'm just doing interviews, and then I'm working on an audio book. I never mention people's races or anything like that in the book, because I didn't want the people to take away from the story and be so caught on color. So then I would then grab people that's talking like these characters, you know, and then have like the little dramatization in the background, you know, gotta be a little, you know. I wrote the second book, but the second book is more of the death. I gotta talk about my brother stuff. I've actually written it, but it's the time where I actually got to, you know, I guess because this is gonna be it, I gotta share it to the rest of the world. So I guess I want to hold on to it as long as I possibly can, but I'm trying to grab other people's attention before I do release it, because this really has meant a lot to me. And then this is the most painful part, you know, because I think I heard where you were saying that, you know, you was angry at God. I was too, you know, and that's part of grieving. I was mad you give me these dreams. Then you have people that can't understand, people that have dreams and they look at you like you weird, you know, and I'm like, why did you do this? And then now I got to write, you know, I want to grieve. So it was like, I'm just pushed to, you know, like, and although I'm to help other people, and it's just like, but why did I have to go through this? You know, but the pain and suffering is always for someone else. And you always give the toughest battles to the strongest one. So that's all it's like.
Like you say, the last shall be first. What you say? And the last shall be first. So like, I might be the last one to get my book in, but guess what? It's gonna rise to the top.
Yes.
And that's so powerful, because in pain, and what we've dealt with a lot of authors that come on, it's always been pain inflicted. So pain pushes us definitely into our purpose. And then not only that, but we are remnants. And sometimes we have to understand that the devil asks for our life every day. Every day. He asked for our life, and there's a reason why God said no. But God is also looking at our lives like, okay, now for 40, 50 years, the devil been asking for your life and you ain't did nothing. You can be great at a lot of things, but become a master of nothing. And so you end up dying and going to heaven full. And that's not what his purpose is for you. So God is saying these dreams and these things that are important to you is, number one, because there's a fivefold ministry that's inside of you. There's an apostle, there's a prophet or a evangelist or a pastor or a teacher. And what I had to find is, number one, I knew there was an evangelist calling on my life, because I love to share what I learned. So that was a teaching spirit in me. I love to go out, and when I learn how to do something, I don't mind sharing it with the next person, so that person can be equipped to do it as well. And it might even do it better than me. But we don't have a lot of people willing to pass the baton to support one another. You got authors that feel like, well, I can't help her with her book because I'm trying to push mine. But what you fail to realize, pushing hers is pushing yours, because people want to know who's behind the support. Who's behind this woman that's got her doing this?
Hey, that's what I'm saying right there.
And when we contacted, I have posted several of my promos on Black Authors Network. I met a lot of authors on another page, but I didn't want to put the word Black in front of mine, because I don't just interview and talk with Black authors. I support all my Black authors, but sometimes being caught up in a race thing, it'll put a boundary on things, because at some point we're going to only help each other so far, and then we get jealous. And it's like, God, why are our people that way? Not saying that they all are, but we become so efficient in the same areas that we're not helping each other. Just like I had a lady on the other day, and my goal was, she's a national radio host herself. And so she was honored to be on my show. So even I had her on my show, I was like, now, hold up, swole up. I think you're going to have to switch sides one day, and you're going to have to interview me. And it made her crack up laughing, because that's what I'm doing. You on my show, but you may go, some of the people that I've interviewed have sold way more books than me. Okay. Some of them are #1 best-selling authors, but I'm going to tell you what God said. He said, don't look upon yourself as being lower,
look at me elevating you higher, because the only way for you to get to a millionaire status is you got to be with a millionaire company. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay. So I'm
Yes.
like, I get that. So God is helping us to go into this realm that we're going in. And I'm so honored to meet these authors. Now, give us a little more detail. I'm going to show your book again. Give us some more information about your book, The Beginning of Her Story. In this particular book, what is this book pertaining to here? I know the next one you got coming in is dealing with more of the pain of when you actually lost your brother, because we've been talking about reviving men that are scorned, and then we got, we always deal with women and our hurts, and then we have men that are hurting. So being that you wrote this book going into the next phase, which is pain, in this particular book, what is the beginning of her story? What is this? What is the characterizes this particular book? For the next
so this book is the beginning of her story. I'm introducing my brother to the world, so you're getting a feel of how he is. And I don't know, but I just feel like it was, and I got to dedicate it to him. So I'm a nurse aide in this book, and I'm just going through life. I lost my son and my granny. I lost my son. I had a stillborn, and my granny, I lost her the same day. So, it seems like just then I fall in love with some guy, and he betrayed me, and had kids, and then I had to help him, and then all of a sudden I end up getting on welfare, and then I'm having to go to school. So it's just like my life's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. But while I'm in school, I'm doing public speaking, because you find out the number one first, public speaking, then death comes second. So during these times, and it wasn't until after I wrote the book is where I understood that all these things that was bad that was happening, was helping me to equip me to helping me to learn how to speak and how to engage, because that's a very scary and I was just in a room with 20 people, and here it is, I had this vision being a child and all over the world, so it's just everything. Then me having children and wanting to have an abortion and asking and crying out to God to give me signs that everything's gonna be okay, and he's giving me these signs, and so I'm literally walking by faith and not by sight. And it wasn't until, like I said, after I wrote the book, that everything that I went through matched up. So the second part would be the premonitions of when those started and stuff like that, because I can't throw it all over the world. They can't instruct us. Me what is my book, I say inspirational, but then you have some people that just think of churchy, but you got your drama in there, you got your sex, you have the real me, the real life. It ain't no all holy than thou, so but it's really a lesson of saying, being very foolish, and then me having to face all these things in life, and it's to show people you never give up, because I never would have thought, while I was going to school, being on welfare, having these children, that I would ever have became an author. It was just a childhood dream. So he always, I feel, put it in your heart as you younger. You just got to go through life, and then it kind of go away, and then he got to bring it back.
Well, you guys, we always bring in a song message of God, and God is always doing some wonderful things. He downloads a song every day to me, and he just has me to go in because he wants people to hear the messages. Song messages from God.
loving my song Messages of God. I'm like, okay, God, I get it. But what God is saying is, I'm going to give you a message. And a lot of us ministers and pastors, we talk it a lot. But it's something about hearing it in a song. And God specifically told me, what I want you to do is every day I'm going to give you a message. So it's going to either be healing or repent, or it's going to be something really special that he's going to give me. And I sing it. I get with these producers. And it's so amazing. And we do a 58-second snippet. And it's the word. And he sometimes will have me read a scripture, the whole scripture in a song. And it's pretty powerful. So in just like with these songs, healing is coming. So girl, honey, healing is coming. And then he said, get on survival lane. When I heard that at first, when he said survival lane, and then I'm listening to you, you've been on survival lane for a long time, and you didn't understand you were surviving. And God is saying, you know, when you turn down this street, when you turn on survival lane, you're going to win. No matter what,
yes,
no matter
ma'am.
what, you're going to win. And it's like, and I want to be around people who want to help me get on survival lane. And that's what God is saying today. So just like with your book, with speaking about your brother, a lot of us need to get to the rooted pain. It says in Hebrews 12:15, see to it that no man fails to obtain grace, and that no root of bitterness is causing trouble. And we got a lot of pain inside that causes trouble. So when I reach out to people that watches us on our radio show and our TV show, the main goal is always go into the word and find you in the word. You can go to Google all the time and you're dealing with certain frustrations and pain. All you gotta do is just type it in and he'll pull up so much revelation, and it ain't all for you, but you will find you in it once you get in it. And that's all God is saying. So what is it that you would like to tell people about who you are? Like, where are you from? Because I know you're not in Knoxville, Tennessee, because I'd have been Crystal, okay?
I'm from Lexington, Kentucky.
Wow.
The Wildcats.
Hey. Wow. One thing I do want to say to Kentucky, I do look to come to Kentucky. I would love to host an event there where I want to bring the Root of My Pain event. It's like a book conference, and we bring other vendors in and other book authors. And I would love to connect with you because we have what's called Books Behind Bars. And we send books to inmates every month. We find a prison. We find a prison each month, and we find out how many inmates are there. And then I connect with my network, which is the Souls Right House Authors Network. And starting in June, because I've been doing it, I've already sent about 4,500 books out to inmates in prison, whether they're men, women, and our youth that are now locked up. And so we would definitely love to get your book into the pile, so that being that you are on our show, we'll definitely have you to send us a copy of your book, because it'll go into the book that is going to go to the Annex Prison. I think we're going to pick Annex Prison for May. And then we got the Bledsoe Women's Prison. The women's prison is called Bledsoe. And so we want to send books to the women and to the men for Mother's Day and Father's Day. And we want books that are self-help. You feel me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
A lot of pain inside of them, and we don't want them to bring that pain outside them prison walls.
Right.
We know a lot goes on behind those walls that we'll never know, and some of them can share and some can't. But one thing we don't want is men and women that have been broken and scorned and treated like slaves, pretty much, come back out into society and treat society the way they were treated in there. So I think that if we can get a lot of self-help books to them while they're in there and while they're locked up, they're able to vent and share and get a lot of pain out. And then we send them books to teach them how to self-publish as well. So we love them to come out. And I've had some people come out of prison, look us up, and we help them get their books on Amazon and into the market. So we definitely want to connect with you on that. And so we'll get in touch with you outside of the radio show and our TV show. I'm going to also have this interview on our podcast show. It's anchor.fm. And we will let people know about Miss Crystal Ann Mitchell and her book, and we look forward. And if there's anything the Souls Right House can do for you, connect with you, be a sponsor for you, partnership with you in some future endeavors that you're doing, just make sure you always stay connected with us on the Authors Network page and post your book and all the things that you're doing. Post it there, because just like Uganda the Goddess that we had on our show, she's somebody that does nationwide and global Radio. And so in supporting her, it's supporting you. So it's like, you know, it's an exchange. Like, hey, Miss Uganda, the goddess, hear my book. That's what God is saying, doing. So we were so blessed. And Crystal, we were so blessed to be able to speak with you. We're going to bring you on our show again. I have my radio show on Sundays at 4. So I may have you call in this coming Sunday, and we'll bring you on our show. Just give anybody a link of how they can contact you. I know they can go to Crystal Ann Mitchell on Facebook. And is there a website or anything people can contact you?
Well, I just got my little YouTube. I'm about to start some shows. I'm waiting on my daughter. She's supposed to be helping me to post these videos. So we still waiting. But on YouTube, Crystal Ann Mitchell. Okay. I'm just taking a little bit at a time. I need to hurry up.
And we are here for you. Now, you tell your daughter, guess what? Miss Sherry that at Souls Right House says she get us started, and then we can keep it moving.
Right.
We can help you. And to those of y'all that's watching, if y'all somebody out there do video, y'all want to sow a seed, then that's the seed right there. That's good ground. And that's all God is saying, is let's focus on the good ground. So, Crystal, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
And we about to get out of here, y'all. And I don't know about y'all, but I just want to be like Jesus. Hey, thank you so much, Crystal.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I just want to be like Jesus. I just want to be like Jesus. I just want to be like Jesus. I just want to be like Him. I just want to be like Jesus. 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 Cause I just want to be I just want to be like Him. Make me more like You. I just want to be like Make me more like You. Make me more like You. Make me more like You. I just want to
join us for Writers Wednesdays. Time to get that book written. Join me every Wednesday from 4 to 6:30 p.m. and get 1 hour of mentorship for free. You can call 865-444-9063 for more information. God bless. To be a guest on Kingdom Purpose TV, please give us a call at 865-444-9063. And one of our agents will be more than happy to assist you, because you have a purpose in the kingdom.
The sun shall rise in my life. God is everything I need. Oh yes, when I buried my kids, it devastated me.